Disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only.
Alright, let's see the next one, Krypton 6. This has a lot of content here. Okay. So let's log in and let's see the readme file inside the Krypton 6. Okay, let's SSH into that. Right. SSH Krypton 6. And what you know is random. Let me cd into that. Krypton 6. You see ls, you see bunch of files. Let me open readme file. Alright, it's the same thing. It's the same thing as the content here. Let me go start. Alright, this is where it starts. So hopefully now it's obvious that repeating keys is a bad idea. So frequency analysis can destroy repeating or fixed key substitution crypto. Right. A feature of a good crypto is random ciphertext. A good cipher must not reveal any clues about the plain text. Okay, since natural language plain text contains patterns, it is left up to the encryption key or the encryption algorithm to add randomness. Okay, alright, let's skip some part of it. So it's up to the encryption key, okay, encryption key and encryption algorithm. So these two are most important in cryptography. Right. If the encryption is truly random letters and only used once, then it is impossible to break. A truly random one-time pad cannot be broken, okay. Consider intercepting the ciphertext message of 1000 bytes. One could be brute force for the key, but due to random key nature, you would produce every single valid 1000 letter plain text as well. Right. Who is to know which is the real plain text? Okay. If it is like a huge key, it is impossible to break. Like for every extra letter you introduce to the key, its randomness grows, okay, and it's impossible to break when more characters are added into it. So what we can do is we have to find another way. Choosing keys that are same size as the plain text is impractical. Therefore, other methods must be used to obscure the ciphertext against the frequency analysis in a simple substitution cipher. Take for example, this is the plain text, and let's say the same number of characters but a different text is added to the cipher key. So it is impractical to choose every time a different key to encrypt this. So even frequency analysis is not possible here. So what we need to do is we need to find another way. The modern ciphers break into two types, okay, symmetric and asymmetric. Symmetric ciphers come in two flavors, block and stream cipher. Until now we've been playing classic ciphers, so we're not playing any of these symmetric ciphers or asymmetric ciphers. So this example relates to symmetric ciphers and that to stream ciphers. Okay, we'll see how it is. These are explanations for other ones. Okay, it's time to employ a stream cipher. Okay, so this is the stream cipher that they were trying to do. From this example forward, we will be working with bytes, not ASCII. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, so let's see the other ones. The key file is in your directory, however, it is not readable to you. The key file is there, but it's not readable. And there is an encrypt6 binary file, okay, is also available. It will read the key file, encrypt any message you desire using the key and a random number. You get to perform a known ciphertext attack by introducing plain text of your choice. The challenge here is not simple, but the random number generator is weak. Okay, looks like the random number generator is weak, so let's see what it is. So see hint 1 if you need a quick start. If you have further difficulty, see hint 2. Okay, password is in Krypton 7 file, encrypted with encrypt 6 file. Okay, so if you do ls again, so these are the files that they are talking about. We have seen this one, and this is the Krypton file where the password is stored, and this is the key file that is used by this encrypt 6 file to generate this file. Okay, so let's see hint 1 and hint 2, because when you see a hint you must try to use that. Okay, the random generator has limited number of bits. It is periodic. So this is a huge hint that we need. Okay, this is periodic. That means the key is repeating again and again. Entropy analysis and a good look at the bytes in the hex editor will help. There is a pattern, right? So they are saying it is periodic and there is a pattern that is repeating. And let's see hint 2, 8-bit LFSR. Let's see what LFSR is. Linear feedback shift register is a shift register whose input bit is linear function of its previous state. Okay, most commonly used in linear function of its single bytes or exclusive OR. Okay, they're trying to say it is related to XOR. Okay, XOR. If you ever have seen XOR gate, okay, it will look something like this. If you make a similarity that this is the plain text and this is supposed to be the key, okay, so then this is the ciphertext that you will get. If you try to do the reverse, that means if you try to use the ciphertext and encrypt it with a key, okay, you should be getting plain text. Okay, so let's see that. Okay, it should be something like this. So here this is not changing. Okay, the key is the same at both cases, but when it's using the plain text, it is converting it into ciphertext, and the ciphertext is able to convert it into plain text. So this is the key factor in XOR ciphers. Okay, so XOR encryption, if you see here, the plain text uses the same amount of key, okay, and creates a ciphertext. Okay, all lengths are same here, so this is practically impossible. Every time you cannot introduce same key, okay, same length of key as the same length of ciphertext. So this is an ideal case, but anyway, so let's confirm this if it is the same key or not. Okay, so to use that, we'll use the famous Wigner cipher. So this is encryption part. Okay, cipher key is supposed to be this, and then if we encrypt this, you should get this content. Okay, okay, A, B, J, G. Okay, all this content is there. So if you try to use this content, okay, and then use the key, the same key, okay, it was best of times. Okay, and then if you try to decrypt it, you should be able to get this. Okay, all right, as you can see here, you get the plain text. Let me go a step back here. Let me use Krypton. This is only this much. We don't know, like we don't want to expect the same key length. Okay, we don't know which key length is there, but in this case, let's try to create a directory and encrypt something. Okay, encrypt something, and then we'll try to use this key and then get some ciphertext, and then we'll see what happens. mktemp-d give full permissions to this, chmod 777 on this, and cd this, and once you get to the directory, let's try to link this key, Krypton 6 and encrypt. Now this one, key.dat file. So this is the key that we want in our current directory. Okay, so what it is doing is it is creating a shortcut link, okay, or symlink in the current directory. You do not need to mention any directory here because we are already in that directory. Okay, so if you do ls, I get a key.dat file, and let me create some plain text, nano plain. Okay, so if you see A, B, C, D, E, and then we'll see what happens. And let me give full permissions to this plain text as well. chmod 777p. Alright, done. And let me try to encrypt this. Krypton 6 encrypt. Let me run this without any arguments and see how it works. Okay, encrypt 6 and then foo bar, and this foo is the file containing plain text and bar is containing destination cipher file. Okay, so you go up, you mention the plain text, and then you mention a file name, which is the file that will be our cipher text. Okay, so if you hit enter and if you do ls, you will see that file. Okay, cat cipher. Okay, this is the content we get. It also doesn't make much sense here. We know that this content uses is XOR. If you see here, we are XORing two numbers, okay, two binary digits. But here if you see, we are XORing two ASCII text. Okay, and here if you see, we can predict the output is either 0 or 1. Okay, these are the two at most outputs. Okay, but if you see here, the outputs range from A to Z, so which means the outputs range from A to Z. And if you try to number this, if you consider this as 1 and this is 26, okay, if some letter when trying to encrypt, if it goes out of the 26 letters, it should be again coming back to letter A, which means it is using mod 26. Okay, if you know a little bit of math, you should be able to know what mod 26 is. Mod 26 is nothing but it accepts only 26 letters. For example, if some letter, let's say letter E plus letter Y is happening, and let us give numbers to this. This is 5 and this is 25, and the output is 30, but we don't have any letter 30. But if we do mod 26 to it, when it reaches 26 letter, it again goes back to letter 1. So if you see this, it will again go back to something like 30 minus 26. So if you see that, you should be able to get number 4, and this number is below 26, so you have respective letter for this, which is D. So this is usually what happens during the encryption process. So it takes the plain text and it takes the key and it converts it into numbers, and then it uses mod 26 and then finds out the number, and then it replaces with that respective letter. Okay, this is what happens usually during encryption. But whenever we use something like mod 26, okay, we usually consider these letters to be from 0 to 25. Okay, A to Z will become 0 to 25. So what this represents is when it reaches 26, it again goes back to 0. So that's what it represents. If you use this analogy in XOR gate, okay, in here, there is an interesting case that is happening. it's better to explain in numbers first and then I'll go to ASCII text. So in these numbers, what's happening is, here if you see zeros and if you see ones, the one number is changing, okay? If you see 1, it is changing. But if you see number 0, those are coming as it is, okay? So 0 is called as identity case here. So if you see, if you take all zeros in the plain text, okay, plain text receives all zeros. As you can see, if the plain text is all zeros, okay, and the key is the key, the ciphertext is the same as the key itself. So this 0 is called identity in numbers, okay, in binary digits. But if you come to alphabets right now, this 0 can represent as identity case. Instead of 0, we will use A. So we will create bunch of A's and we will try to encrypt it with the key, okay? Key doesn't matter, key can be anything, okay? You try to encrypt with something like this. The output should also be something like this, okay? The output repeats itself because the plain text is all A's. Okay, this is what happens. We can reveal this key using an identity case, okay, and we get the ciphertext. So let's try to implement this in our CTF. So let me remove all the content here. RM cipher. Instead of removing this plain, let me change the content, okay? Instead of this, I keep all A's, lots and lots of A's, and let's see if that is repeating anywhere, okay? So if you see the readme file, they have already said that the content is repeating itself. So it is saying there it is periodic. To see hint 1, cat slash Krypton 6, and then hint 1, okay? They are saying it is periodic and it is repeating. There is a pattern, okay? In order to find that pattern, we need lot of identity cases, okay? So if you see cat plain now, since A is the identity case, we are giving lots and lots of A's to it, and we will try to find out what the pattern is, and then we'll find out the key. And let's try to encrypt this using this. We already know it accepts a plain text, okay? This is the plain text that we are providing it. And we have to give the output file name, okay? This is the cipher that we are giving. So the output is cipher, but it is also the key, okay? It's the same case as this. So you try to use the plain text and you try to use the key, you'll get the cipher, and the cipher will be same as key because we have used an identity case. So this is the same thing that's happening here also. So keep this in mind, okay? And if you try to cat the cipher, so this is what we get. Let me copy this content into this. And let's see where the pattern is emerging. If you see here, till here, there is one pattern, and if you hit enter, you will see that pattern again, and if you hit enter, you will see that pattern again and again. Okay, so this is the pattern that is emerging, and this is the key itself also. So if you go to here again, Vigneer cipher, and if you paste that key, and if you remove this content, and if you paste the Krypton cipher, copy this, and this should also give our flag, okay? So if you see, this is the ciphertext and this is key, Okay, so if you try to decrypt this, here you see LFSR is not random. Okay, this is the flag. Hope you understand how to approach this. Okay, initially we started with the hints. The hints said that it is SOR. Okay, I'll just repeat it again. The hints say that it is some random number generator. Okay, and it is periodic. So this is one hint, and the second hint we got is from using the XOR gate. So they said LFSR. So LFSR. So this is what we get from LFSR, and from LFSR we got exclusive OR, and using this exclusive OR we went here. Okay, got one exclusive OR diagram using binary digits, and then we tried to use the cipher text to get the plain text again. Okay, and then we found that identity case where you use only zeros, and using the key will give the same key again. After this we went here. Okay, we got this one-time things here. Okay, plain key, the cipher, and we went here to encrypt this and decrypt this. Okay, so what we get is we get something called mod 26. Okay, so what this does is it numbers the alphabets, and if it is more than that, it again recycles it back to some number which is in alphabet. Okay, so that number which is representing the letter will be the encrypted letter. Okay, since we are using mod 26, we take from 0 to 25 instead of 1 to 26. Okay, using the identity case, we keep all A's in a plain text and try to encrypt it with the hidden key. We should be able to get the cipher text. Okay, and the cipher text is same as the key. After understanding this part, we went here and created a bunch of A's, and we tried to encrypt the plain text, and we got the cipher text, which is this. Once we got this cipher, we copied it here, and then we tried to find where the periodic pattern is coming. Okay, and then once we find out that pattern will obviously be the key, and then we went to Vigneer cipher again. We paste the Krypton file, which is here. Okay, this one, and we try to use this key, and we got the flag. Okay, this is the process that's going on. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got it. Okay, you just need some patience. Okay, some persistence, some not giving up situation here. Okay, this is easy. Okay, keep that in mind. Keep that attitude that it is easy. Okay, you'll obviously get it. Okay, if I can get it, you can also get it. So Krypton is over right now.